I have a few confessions to make. I'm going to try my best to do what God asked me to do and make room for him to speak through me. I have a big problem with being misunderstood, but I'm learning Jesus was misunderstood. I don't need to be understood. And so while I hope you get it. I hope the message lands. I hope that as I'm sharing my story with you, you take away the parts that I intend for you to take away, but I also understand that I'm not in control. Motherhood is a marathon. That is something that came to me when I was pregnant with my second son. And it's funny because I'm a doula. And as a doula, I've always told my moms, like, this is like preparing for a marathon. Like, you don't like go train once, right? Like you have several things that you need to do. You need to hydrate, you need to stretch, you need to strengthen, you need to actually run. Like there's so many moving parts. You're preparing for a marathon. Motherhood is a marathon. I don't know what that means, but it's in my, like, the idea was planted. God sent it to me, and I didn't know. I didn't have the discernment, or I wasn't listening good enough to understand what he wanted me to do with it. But I get it now. I get it now. And I cannot delay it any further. I can't delay it. I have a problem. I have a problem with how many people that I know personally who are suffering in motherhood. I have a problem with that. Not because motherhood isn't hard, because it is hard, but because we're blaming motherhood for our unhappiness. Like, we think the suffering that we're experiencing is due to motherhood, and it's not. It's not due to motherhood. It's not. What I have come to realize is that I have been grasping so hard for control that I've been playing God. I grew up in the church. I should give you guys some background. This story is not going to be linear. There's not going to be a beginning, middle, and end. I grew up in the church, and I really enjoyed it. Youth minister, step team ministry, mime ministry, field trips, all the things. I really enjoyed it, like through high school. I even sang in the choir, and that's not my gift, y'all, but I did. I sure did. Got up on stage, and I did benedictions, and I read scriptures, and I'm talking about it, and it's almost like it's coming back to me, because it's just like a piece of my life that I kind of put to the side, like I put it in my pocket, like $100 bill or whatever value you want to place, a valuable bill. I put it in my pocket, and I just kind of forgot it was there. And that's so unfair to myself, to my family, to the people who I influence, and to God. But there's a couple of things that I want to talk about today that I really, really, really hope put it in perspective for you, because it's exactly what put it in perspective for me. Motherhood is a marathon. Motherhood is not a thief. It is not a burden. It is not here to steal your joy. Motherhood is joyful. It is gleeful. It is beautiful. It is full of so many opportunities to grow. Motherhood is all those things. It is not a burden, but it is a marathon. It is the long race. You have to keep going. You cannot quit. You cannot give up. It is a divine assignment, whether you want it or not. And what I'm beginning to understand is that I've been lied to. People have told me for my entire life that it was up to me what I wanted to do when I grew up. It was up to me who I wanted to be. It was up to me to create the life that I wanted for myself. And it is not up to me. I don't have that privilege. God made me. God made me. Dancing says God made us, nobody can break us. But before I can even get to the nobody can break us part, God made me. It is not up to me what I do with my life. I have an assignment here. I have a job to do, and we've been lied to. The world has been lying to us and telling us that it is up to us. It is not up to us. God put us here for a reason. It's a battle every day, and somewhere along the way, I put down my sword and I stopped fighting. but God still kept me. One of my favorite songs, and I love this song. Like when I want to worship, like this is the song, right? And I, even though I always loved the song, I'm hearing it so differently now. You thought I was worth saving, so you came and saved my life. You thought I was worth keeping, so you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was to die for, so you sacrificed your life so I could be free, so I could be whole, so I could tell everyone I know. And I just just like how I missed the part about God making me, I missed the part about telling everyone I know. When I was a kid, I didn't understand. I didn't understand it. I said, Mom, why does Kirk Franklin say that, you know, everybody has to bow down and so I can't remember exactly how he says it, but in something about the name Jesus, it's a song. He's all the Jews, all the Muslims, all the whoever else he names, you're gonna have to bow down, and you're going to have to. He says something about just calling the name of Jesus, like honoring the name of Jesus, revering him, essentially. I wish those lyrics would come to me. They won't. It's okay. I was like, I don't like that. Why we got like why? And my whole thing was like, okay, well, I was born into this religion because you in this religion and you was born into it. So like, if they were born into it, like, why do they have to come over here? Why does it only have to be one? And then I told myself, like, loved history in school, loved it. Religion was one of my favorite subjects, units, and told myself, like, oh well, I think everybody believes in the same God that I believe in. They just believe in him differently, or sometimes they split him up into different into many gods, right? And that was my worldly way of trying to make sense of something that didn't make sense to me, because what I'm realizing now is God never said it was going to be easy, but he did give us very clear instructions on what we were supposed to do. And even though I wasn't doing those things, he still looked out for me. If we love our children the way that God loves us, what would the world look like? Sin is a sin. Another thing I'm realizing, sin is a sin. The Bible says that man should love his wife the way that Christ loved the church. And he's not talking about the church that we see today, right? He's talking about the church that was walking from city to city to spread the news, to tell everyone they know about God. I have a little influence. I have a little reach. I haven't been using it properly. Fun fact, I don't like content creation. I'm good at it. I can edit a video. I have a degree in theater. I know how to entertain people. I know how to speak. I know how to do the things. I wanted to use my talents the way I wanted to use them. God said, oh, I ignored that. I wanted to use my talents for my own glory instead of using it for his glory. But guess what kept happening? I kept gaining more followers. Not because I was trying. I kept gaining more followers. I kept getting more brand partnerships. Content creation kept paying my bills. It is not the way that I intended to use my gift, but look at me now. I look at Amazing Grace so differently now. Amazing Grace is a beautiful song. It's a song that will bring you to tears, but it really, 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 really does feel like I was blind, but now I see. This is in no way, shape, or form a criticism of how I was taught about Christ growing up, but it is a realization. You have to be careful who you listen to. You have to be mindful what you take out of what they're saying. You have to be a good listener as well, because communication happens in all those ways. I missed a lot. All that time I spent in the church, and I missed a lot. And now that I'm getting reacquainted with Jesus, I'm like, oh, I see it now. I'm seeing things so clearly now that it almost feels foolish to look back and think about who I was giving my power to, who I was surrendering to, accolades I was chasing, when the only thing that matters is that Jesus came here to die for my sins. And I have to tell everyone I know. It is up to me to tell everyone I know, because guess what the devil is doing? A fight, it's a battle. And I've heard of spiritual warfare, and I never thought I was one of the soldiers. I never thought like I was fighting that battle. I thought of spiritual warfare as like something between you and God, or something between you and the devil, and the battle between the three of you, right? I didn't think it is my responsibility to be a good steward, disciple my children, and tell everyone I know. And if you're watching this and you're where I was even 6 months ago, I might be tapping you, but it's not going to leave you alone. It's going to keep coming back. The taps are going to get harder. Next thing you know, it's going to be a grip. It's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that things and people are being exposed, that so many people around us are prioritizing Christ in their lives. It is not a coincidence. And I have to share with you guys, sin is a sin. And so that was a little backstory, but me ignoring the calling on my life, ignoring the assignment that God has given me, is a sin. Just like lying, cheating, and stealing. Me raising my voice at my children, me being petty towards my children, me holding their shortcomings against them, even though God has not held mine against me, is a sin. And a sin is a sin in the eyes of God. Our ways are not his ways. Our thoughts are not his thoughts. He is not looking down here with the hierarchy that we are putting on things. You lie from time to time, but cheat? Oh no, that's way worse than lying. At least I didn't do that. At least I haven't stolen anything. At least I'm not a thief. But you are. I am. I am. And I'm recovering. I'm better. But I've been stealing from God. Matthew 27, I think it is. Your talents. The talents that God gives you, it is your responsibility to multiply them. And if you don't, if you hide them, if you bury them in the ground, you are no different from the man to whom God said, "You wicked and lazy servant, get away from me. I never knew you." I think some of us like to focus on the goodness of God and how he shows up in our lives when we need him, how he makes a way out of no way. But we don't always want to focus on our end of the deal. It is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to obey. So if God gives you an idea and you're sitting on it, that's a sin. If I have told my child 3 times to do something and he hasn't done it, and I hold that against him for the rest of the week, that is not the way the Bible told me to love my child. The Bible said I'm supposed to forgive him. I'm supposed to give him another chance. I'm supposed to be patient. I'm supposed to be kind. I'm not supposed to be boastful. I'm not supposed to brag about how when he asks me to do something, I do it. But when I ask you to do something, you don't listen, or you say no. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to keep a record of wrongdoings, and that includes my child. And we become sad, and we become exhausted, and we become frustrated, and we become miserable because we forgot how to love the way that God intended. The devil is the one encouraging you to raise your voice at your children, encouraging you to be emotionally, physically, verbally abusive towards your children. That is not God. The Bible says it very clearly in a few different places. I'm not at the level of believership to where I can rattle off scriptures just yet, but I know a few, and I'll make sure to put them in the description. But I want you all to think about that. I want you to think about how many times you've disobeyed God in all the years of your life, in your adult years. You're disobeying God in your adult years. And so surely your 5-year-old can disobey you a time or two and you can be forgiving. That feeling that you get when you want to control the situation, when you want to do anything in your power to make them listen, to make them do what you want them to do, that's not of God. Control is not of God because you are not in control. We are not in control. And I've had to realize that I am not in control. It is not up to me to make these decisions. The how, the what, it's not up to me. The when, it's not up to me. I don't even know how long I'm here. I don't even know how long I'm here on this earth. I have an entire TED talk about how dying is our destiny, but that's got to be another video for another time. Right now, we got to talk about this. One thing we know that we're all going to come here to do is to live and to die. We don't know when. We don't know how. It's not up to you. You do not have as much control as you think you have. And I want to challenge you to this. Think about all the great people in the Bible that we name our kids after. What do you think it was like to be their parent? What do you think it was like to be the mother of Moses, the mother of David, the mother of Jesus? What do you think it was like to be the mother of any of those people, of John and James, of Matthew? Have this great assignment, and that is what you're supposed to focus on. And then you become a mom, and I'm not excusing fathers of their roles. Their roles are so important, and their roles are also clearly stated in the Bible. But I'm a mom, so that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my story, my experience. When I think about the idea that me losing my patience with my child and loving him incorrectly is the same as me stealing, I pause. When I think about the fact that the devil only has to keep me distracted in order to have control over me, I pause. I slow down. When I think about how many times God told me so clearly to do one thing and I did the other in his face, like, you know what it feels like as a mom to stand there and look at your child and be like, no. And they be like, no. And they still do it. There's nothing cute or funny about it in the moment. We can laugh about it now, but there's nothing cute or funny about it in the moment. And we've done that to God how many times? And he still gives us grace. And he still gives us mercy. And he still gives us chances, chance after chance after chance to do what he asked. Surely we can be more patient with our kids. Surely we can lead them with love, the love specifically that Jesus has talked about. Yeah, the one when somebody slaps your cheek and you give them the other cheek. That one, that love. And sometimes it does feel a little bit foolish. It does feel a little bit like, wow, you out here, you can't read, you can't write, you can't drive, you can't cook for yourself, and you running my life. It does feel like that sometimes. I'm not taking that away from anybody. It does feel hard. I do want to cry sometimes. I do cry. Like, I have a 15-month-old and my nipples are cracking open as if I'm breastfeeding a newborn. And it's not even his fault. It's not his fault at all. But am I going to sit here and tell you it's not hard? It's hard. It's hard. But so is the marathon. And thank God we're not running it alone. Thank God we're not running it alone. And I mean that even for my single parents, even for the people who has a spouse that's out of the house all day long and it's just you. Or your partner travels for work and it's just you for weeks at a time. You live far away from your family, so you don't have anybody else to help you. You are not doing this alone. God is always with you. God is always with you. God is always with you. Always with you. No matter what. Even if you feel alone, you're not. God has not turned his face away from you. He is right there with you. Things may not go the way you wanted them to go. They're not going according to your plan, but they're going according to God's plan. And let me tell you, when it feels chaotic and when it feels like misaligned and it just feels like everything is going wrong, that's usually when it's going right. But you know what? That's the moment. That's the opportunity for the devil to sneak in, because we're tired, we're emotional, we're vulnerable. We feel like we've given everything that we had. We don't have any more to give. But how did Jesus feel when he was carrying, they say, about 300 pounds, the cross weighed? If Jesus can carry 300 pounds, I can carry my two on my back. I can do that. I can do that. I can carry this burden, and I can decide in my mind that I'm not alone. I can remind myself that I'm not alone. I can get into my Bible and I can read my scriptures. I can join the community, because I do have a community. I have started one where we talk about motherhood, and we talk about how it is in the nature of a woman to try to control, to fix, to figure, to solve, to support. But that's not our job. That is God's job. It is God's job to solve, fix, figure, to support us. Okay? We're not doing this by ourselves. And you have to stop. Y'all have to stop shouting from the rooftops about how you made it by yourself. Nobody helped me. I did this all by myself. That's not anything to brag about. God is with you. Therefore, you are not alone. Even in those moments where people turn away from you, they turn their backs on you, God is right there. In fact, it's usually in those moments that it's the greatest opportunity for God to show up, because God is not looking for saints. He qualifies the called. It doesn't matter what you did, who you were, how you fell short. He loves you. Jesus' favorite type of people are the kind of people that don't fit the description. His favorite types of people are the kind of people that don't fit into the mold. Oh, you haven't prayed in 10 years? Okay, start now. God has still been with you this entire time. You're not alone. You're not doing this alone. God never promised you it would be easy. In fact, if you follow him, it will probably be harder. He will be there to provide. His provision is sufficient. And we are living in a world where they're telling us that we need more. But Mary did it. And she didn't have Amazon deliveries, same day deliveries. She didn't have Instacart or DoorDash. She didn't even have a store to go to buy bread. She made it herself. And she was mothering Jesus, who I'm sure from the very young age was telling her all kinds of things that were foreign to her, because he's the Son of Man, God here on earth, wise beyond his mother. And sometimes we don't like that. Sometimes it's uncomfortable for us. Sometimes we want our kids to do stuff because we said so. Sometimes we don't want to listen to what our kids are saying because they're small, and we forget that they're people, and we forget that God made them to be exactly who they are. And a lot of the times that God made them to help us with whatever we're battling with, because we need to grow our patience. We need to grow in our faith. We need to grow in our wisdom. We need to figure out how to tackle things differently. We need to be the ones to figure out what product is going to take to protect the teeth of our babies, because nobody likes going to the dentist for their 2-year-old or their 1-year-old or their 3-year-old dealing with obscene dental issues. My assignment, y'all. I got this one here. Motherhood is a marathon, and I got these products that I'm working on. And I'm no longer moving from a space of fear where I'm afraid to tell you what I'm doing, because so what? I hope I'm not the only person with this assignment. I'm sure I'm not. Maybe the other people who are trying to figure this out, we can come together and make something beautiful. Or maybe we do it in our own respective areas and it still becomes something beautiful, because God has my back. But believe me, I am actively working to figure out what it is that I can do to relieve whatever is attacking my child's teeth. I got moms who've created entire businesses because they were solving a problem for their children. You get caught up in looking at your child as a child and not as your divine assignment, that is just as important as your career, if not more. I had a mom tell me today, new mom, how bizarre it is that she has to pay somebody for 40 hours a week to watch her child while she works 40 hours a week. Bizarre. And I want to say this as well, and it is not my intention to upset you, but I have to tell you, I am not here for the approval of man. Single thing we gain, we give up something. It's an exchange. It's a transaction. And I want to talk about a lot of these movements, these isms, and these ist that we love to attach to our titles, and how a lot of it is just conditioning, and how a lot of it feels like freedom, but it's actually just packaged in a way that makes us feel like we're achieving something or gaining something, but we're actually giving something valuable up. Prime example, entire communities across the world were convinced, hear me, were convinced that the milk that their bodies create for their children was bad for them. Why? Because somebody marketed it well. Somebody said, this is Nestle, by the way, their history is not a secret. They saw an opportunity to make more money, and they went into the homes of people across the world, even in third world countries where water was not sufficient, to say, your child is malnourished. Your child is not being fed. You need to give them this other milk that we've created. When you put it like that, it sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? It sounds a little crazy, but this is what happens, and we don't realize it until decades or centuries later. What? The milk that my body created for my child is not good for them, so I need to stop giving them that and pay you money for something that my body does for free. And then and now all of a sudden breastfeeding is revolutionary. It's a movement, when it's supposed to be as simple and as natural as breathing or walking or giving birth. Home birth. It's revolutionary. It's a movement. Because somebody said, no, wait a minute. All these village women are getting paid to help you give birth to your baby. No, that's not safe. You need to come over into this facility and let this white man with this degree and these credentials and these letters behind his name with this white coat put you to sleep so that we can birth your baby the safer way, remove you from the experience. Over time, that has evolved to us being in our wakefulness during birth, but people sell us these things, right? And we buy them and we get distracted and we get convinced this is the new way, this is the modern age, let's do it this way. Visions are sufficient. And I'll be the first to tell you, as a doula, I'm gonna tell every single body, there's no such thing as a good or a bad. Everything's a tool. Home birth is not good or bad. Cesareans are not good or bad. Inductions are not good or bad. It's a tool. Is it the right tool for the job? Well, in most cases, cesareans and inductions get overused or misused. And then they lead to other things, because every single thing you gain, you give something up. So let's talk about the feminist movement for a moment. The feminist movement, however well-intentioned, at some point got taken over and we were lied to. Men went off to war, so shaving companies didn't have anybody to sell their products to. Oh, let's shave our legs. Let's shave our armpits. And I want to be clear, I have no issue with shaving your legs, shaving your armpits. I have no issue with doing any of these things, but the agenda behind it does matter. So what did we gain in the feminist movement, and what did we give away? The idea that women should be treated with some respect and some dignity and some integrity is extremely important, because we are human, we are God's creation, we should be treated as such. Act like you know. The idea that taking women out of the home, selling them independence, having them pay for childcare, and not public school, but this special elite school that, your child must go to this school. You must work even harder. You must get a second job. It's a distraction. It's trickery. And you have to know what you're giving up. There are ways to find joy in motherhood and still find joy in the assignment that God gave you. But I highly doubt that the assignment was break up the family, separate, send the father away, send the mom away, send the kids away. I highly doubt that. I don't see how that was part of God's plan. You have those videos that's like, this video will make you never want to send your child to school. It's no longer a secret. But how do we get out of it? How do we move from the way that life is today, where, we can't live off of one income anymore because they aren't paying us enough and the price of things keep going up. So yeah, I do have to go and work. How do we move away from I have to go work, so I got to send my kid to school. I can't afford a private nanny. That's too expensive. If I want to afford that, I got to work even more. It's a trap they've put us in. Just remember to stay focused on what your assignment is from God, because your assignment from God will make room for all those things and it will solve all those problems. Your assignment from God, if you don't hesitate, if you pull the trigger on it, if you put energy into that and you let him worry about providing the things that you need to be provided, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be working on God's timing and not yours, and being out of control is uncomfortable. But the benefits that you will reap are going to be far and beyond whatever it is that's holding you back right now. Come in. Hi, my love. What's wrong with Kyle?
He's just crying because he's about to be changed.
Oh, he's just a little fussy. Okay. I feel like Hi. I feel like this is a sign that I need to wrap it up. But I want everyone to walk away from it, or maybe you have to listen to it a couple times to get it, but I want you to think about the deception that is all around us. And I want you to try to think about getting really clear on your assignment.
I have this.
You do, you have a mic. Getting really clear on your assignment, making room for God as the number one thing in your life. And everything else comes after it, and that includes our kids. And that includes our spouses, and that includes our desires and our wants and our needs. God's will, not mine. More of him, less of me. And I'm 35. It's taken me this long. So if you feel like you're hearing this and it's not landing, or you got more questions, feel free to join my community or to talk with me more offline. I'm happy to put them in the comments. I'll make more videos. We'll talk more about this because it has begun. It has officially begun.
So
we are doing this. Tell me.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Adam and Eve was listening to God, but God and the sneaky snake told them that they have to eat their fruit from that tree.
Hi, handsome.
And
look at you. You look so cute in your big boy shorts. Come on. And the sneaky snake told them they had to eat the fruit from the tree, and then what?
And then they ran away from the sneaky snake. But the sneaky snake didn't know that God was doing something special to save Adam and Eve.
Yeah. And then what happened?
God and Adam and Eve, God and Adam and Eve and Adam and Eve saw God. They could really, really see God.
They could really, really see God.
Uh-huh.
That's a beautiful time. Salute, baby. The little one's getting over whatever germs are coming to try to keep us down, but we're not going to let that happen. That's a really beautiful and timely story that you came to tell. I'm really glad you came to tell me that, because mommy was actually yeah, I hear you. Mommy was actually just telling people about the distractions and how easily we get distracted. Can I keep mine? You keep yours? How easily we get distracted by the things of this world, by the sneaky snakes. Hey, go wipe that off, please. Just go grab a paper towel and wipe that off. How easily we get distracted by the sneaky snakes of the world. And my son is absolutely right. The sneaky snake didn't know that God was doing something special.
That was not slut.
And sometimes we don't even know how special, like, God's assignment is for us. And I'll leave you with this. God is everywhere. The devil is not. Which is why the devil has to use distractions to keep you distracted. He doesn't have time to come and infiltrate your life the way that God does. He doesn't have the impact or the influence until we give it to him. The moment you are distracted, he's on to the next person. He's on to the next person, because that's all he has to do is keep you distracted. He doesn't have to come in and wreak havoc in your house. All he has to do is come in and take advantage of your lack of anger management. And now the devil is in your house. And he is in the way you speak to your children. He's in the way you speak to yourself. He's in the way you speak to your spouse. This is your divine assignment. And it's so important. It's so important that we have to disciple these little people. Do not let anybody tell you that it's not.
Do you want to wear those boots?
Nah, it's too hot for that. That is all we have for you. I hope it resonates. But if it didn't, I'm going to try again. So, until next time. You look like your mama. I don't care what y'all say. Look at this face. Yeah, I know. You look a little more like your daddy. But you my child. You know who y'all both look like? God. Yeah.
You just hit me with these.
Did I?
You hit me with these fireballs.
Do you call them fireballs? All right. I'm going to end the video now, okay?
Okay.
You got anything else you need to say? If you start with you probably don't.
I think God is always with you. He's everywhere. He's with Charles.
You are never alone.
You are never alone.
God is always with you.
God is always with you.
Can you push the red button for me?